So we're back at our sewing machine, and for those of you that have Berninas and stitch regulators, I want to congratulate you, and I also want to share with you some ideas on how to use it for quilting. Now, I know personally that it was probably 7 years before I took this out of the box because I was so afraid of it, and I want to see if on a smaller project we can't get all of you to be brave and plug this BSR in and let's get it rolling. So your stitch regulator, Bernina stitch regulator, it's an exclusive product and it is a true stitch regulator. It actually reads how fast and slow your machine goes, or how fast and slow you're moving the fabric, and then your machine goes according to how fast and slow you move your fabric. So if your fabric is moving slow, your machine is stitching slow. If your fabric is moving fast, your machine is stitching fast. It comes in a box like this. I've taken out and I've put on the open toe foot. I like the open toe foot because then I don't have to fuss with my threads when I pull them to the top. What we're going to do is remove our number 1 foot and just set it off to the side. You can put it in your little tray table here next to you. Oh, actually, I'll just put it underneath because I'm going to use it again here pretty quick. And the stitch regulator installs just like a regular foot. The only difference is there's a slot back here that it plugs into, and sometimes I can get it and sometimes I can't. And today I have to stand up to find it. There we go. As soon as you plug it in, your machine is going to switch over, and I'm not going to teach you how to use a stitch regulator today. I'm just going to tell you the settings that I like and let you play with it yourself. So on the screen, it's going to have a number 1 straight stitch or a number 2 zigzag. We're going to use the straight stitch. And then down towards the bottom of the screen is another number 1 and a 2. We're going to use number 1. And this number 1 here, what that tells you is when you stop moving, the machine is going to stop stitching. When you start moving, the machine is going to start stitching. Number 2 means that even if you stop, the machine is going to continue to stitch. So I want it to stop when I stitch. I'm also going to make sure that my needle is in the down position, because when I stop, I want it to be secured to my machine, and when the needle's in the down position, it does that, then I can move my hands or move my project. The last thing you have to do is take your foot pedal out, unplug your foot pedal, and the reason you do that is because we are not using the foot pedal to regulate the speed of the machine or how fast or slow you move your project. It really is about you and how fast and slow you're moving the project that you're working on. So I have a sample here, and I'm just going to show you the steps we're going to use to set it up. Now I've left my circle making tool on here with the rubber bumper to make sure that I don't get stabbed, and I can work around this. You want to keep your project rolled up in the area that you're working. This is not a finished one, but I'm going to show you just some basics on the stitch regulator. I have put red thread in so that you can actually see my stitching and what we're doing. But honestly, my favorite thread in the world for quilting projects is Quilter Select number 80 weight thread. Quilter Select number 80 weight thread. This thread is awesome. It's strong enough to hold, but it is also a thinner thread, so it buries into your project. So you don't see the thread, you just see the effect of the quilting, and that's what we're looking for. So 60 weight or 80 weight thread. Quilter Select comes in a lot of different colors, and that's what I use for my quilting. Okay, so before you go to quilt your project, so just pretend like this is all embroidered and we've put the back of our project on. Don't forget to put the back of your project on. I'm going to say that one more time. Do not forget to put the back of your project on, because if you don't put the backing on, it's not going to count. We want to quilt through all 3 layers to hold this all together. I'm going to do a little test in the corner to make sure that I've got my threads going the way I want them to. But when we go to put the binding on, and you'll see this in just a couple of minutes, when we go to put the binding on, we're actually going to trim these corners off so that we get a really even circle when we're putting the binding on. But for right now, I'm just going to grab my upper thread, I'm going to put my foot down, and I'm going to needle up, needle down. And that allows me to pull my bobbin thread to the top. So whenever you're starting your stitch regulator work, you always want to have both threads on the top. And then I just hold my button in, and the red light will come on, and I just slightly move it so that it creates a securing stitch. And then I'm just going to, I call it a wiggle worm to do stippling. It's like a puzzle piece, and you can hear that as I move faster, it stitches faster, and as I move slower, it stitches slower. So this is pretty good. But even if I wasn't good at this, and I wasn't when I first started, when you're done, just hit the button again and it will stop with the needle in the down position. When I first started, I was not a good quilter. It was not smooth, it wasn't very pretty, but I had a lot of good people help me with things like use the matching thread color and a lighter weight thread color. Just relax, drop your shoulders, do a little bit of quilting yoga before you start. So stretch your arms, rock your shoulders around, and relax. Just relax. This is fun. It really is fun once you get started. The only other thing I want to say about this is when you start your quilting, you want to start with your threads off the edge so that they are in the binding. And when you finish, you want to stop with your threads off the edge. So at this point, what I would do is I would cut these corners off. Whoop, let me get my needle back up. There we go. And I'm going to cut my threads. So now I have had my practice piece. I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch all the way around, and I'm going to quilt my project, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to put our binding on.